gentlemen, welcome back to this week's episode of Gazzetta Dello FIVE. You got here myself, Joel Bayer, Stephen Howson, and of course the man in whom we trust, Mr. Fabrizio Romano. Guys, how are we doing this week? We good?
All good, all good. Incredible Champions League game, so all good.
Oh my gosh, we're going to get into all that, man, because I think that affects the transfers. I just want you guys watching to remember that we've got other shows coming on as well. Of course, we've got Secret Scout coming out, and we've got episodes coming out throughout the whole summer.
Karim Adeyemi. In opposite of what we've just said about Boadu, the selfishness, the single-mindedness, that when I get in the box, I am pulling that trigger. This isn't someone that you have to go, can you have a couple more shots? Can you try and create some... He's just stacking up the shots.
And please sure you check out this week's episode of Vibe with Five when you get the chance after this video.
Only one man for me, I've got to be honest. He's been decisive. Listen, he's got the most goals. He's got the most goals and most assists in the league. You can't go against that.
Steve, do you want to kick us off?
Right. Obviously, we can only go one place after last night. Let's go to Madrid. Did Ancelotti let slip that Mbappe confirmed, or is there some more to play with this?
No, it's still not done. All he needs to communicate his decision. If he wants to join Real Madrid and sign the contract he has into his hands since long time with his lawyers, with his family, so the contract for Real Madrid is ready, and they are relaxed. Real Madrid sources are really relaxed and convinced that Kylian Mbappe will play for Real Madrid next season. But Paris Saint-Germain are still there. They are still fighting. They are still hoping to change his mind with a short-term contract. And so with big money, with big salary, they hope to change the situation. Let's see, but in a few days, we will know the final decision by Kylian Mbappe.
You know what? I think it's important for Real Madrid as well, because, you know, if they do win the Champions League or carry on with this great run, then it gives them more of a chance. It gives them more of a chance to, you know, negotiate better and not allow Mbappe to, I don't know, overrun them with the finances. Or is that already sorted, Fabrizio?
No, but I think it's not a financial problem between Kylian Mbappe and Real Madrid.
Okay.
It's just how he wants to continue his career in the next 1 or 2 years. If he wants to do one more season or two at Paris Saint-Germain and then join Real Madrid. But I think one day Kylian Mbappe will 100% play for Real Madrid. If it's not this summer, it's going to be in 1 year and 2 years. But there are good chances that will be this summer. So it's not a financial problem. It's just a personal decision. As he mentioned, he will decide together with his family. And so that's why I think it's not just about money.
Man.
Staying with Spain, there's some talk of Marcos Alonso going to Barcelona. What have you got for us on that?
Yes. I reported this news because I'm sure that is a serious option. First of all, I'm told that Marcos Alonso wants to leave England and go back to Spain because of personal reasons. So at the moment, there are good chances for him to go back to Spain. Of course, he's waiting, like many other players we already discussed here, like Kante, Jorginho, and many others are waiting to discuss with Chelsea board once this ownership situation will be clarified to understand what's next and what they can do and what will be the price or the negotiations for their contracts. But in the case of Marcos Alonso, he wants to go back to Spain. And Barcelona is an option because they will sign a new left back, 100%. They are already planning for a move in that position. And he's part of a list with 3-4 names, but he's really appreciated into the clubs. He's appreciated by Xavi. And so Marcos Alonso could be a serious possibility for Barcelona. But at the moment, they have no chance to negotiate with Chelsea, of course. So they're waiting. They are discussing with people close to the player, but not yet with Chelsea because they are not able to do it. So I think we need to wait a bit, but it's a serious option for Barcelona to sign Marcos Alonso.
What stage are Barcelona at right now in terms of rebuilding? Because I'm seeing their average age and it seems pretty high. You know, you've still got Dani Alves. I don't know if he's staying on next season. They're looking at Lewandowski. They're looking at Marcos Alonso. Christensen's one of the youngest players that I think they've got coming in. Like, what is their plans?
No, they want a balance. They want a balance. So they know they need experienced players like the ones you mentioned. They will sign Frank Kessie on a free too. That is an experienced player from AC Milan. But also we have to remind that they have many young talents. Like Gavi is born in 2004 and he's playing as a starter in Barcelona. He's 17 and he's playing as a starter. So I think it's still incredible what Gavi is doing with Barca. Yeah. And then they have Pedri. They have many talented boys from La Masia that they want to trust. They signed Eric Garcia last summer, but at the same point, they need some experienced players. So the plan is to have a balance. They already signed Kessie and Christensen. We can consider both deals completed. They're working to sign a new left back. They want to explore the possibility to sign a new striker, and let's see what happens with Lewandowski, because at the moment from Bayern, the communication is still the same. They want to keep the player and they want to negotiate with him to extend the contract. So it's not an easy one, but Barca won't give up on Lewandowski. So I think it will be an interesting summer for Barcelona. And I'm curious to see what will be the next steps, even for important players who could maybe leave the club, because we have many rumors around Frankie de Jong, for example, but I'm told that he wants to play Champions League football and that Xavi wants to keep him at the club. But let's see what kind of proposals they will receive. So it's going to be a really interesting summer around Barcelona.
Wow.
What's the situation with Chelsea at the moment? I mean, what things need to happen for them to be able to compete again in the summer? The sale has to happen, but is there some holdups with that?
I think this is too important to have updates on players, because honestly, into the board, they're already keeping contacts with agents. To give you an example, Jules Koundé is a player that they still have in the list. He was really close to join Chelsea last summer, and they are still in contact with his agents, like saying, okay, if he will stay and if he will continue with this project, Jules Koundé will be one of the priorities, because I see Chelsea signing 2 centre-backs in the summer. They need to. They will lose Tony Rudiger, who will join Real Madrid on a free. They will lose Christensen, who will join Barcelona. So they need to sign new centre-backs, and Jules Koundé is an option. But at the moment, they can't really negotiate with players. They don't know what's next. And this is a problem even with the players they have in the team, because as we mentioned last time, Mason Mount is waiting to discuss a new deal since September. Jorginho is out of contract in 2023, and he has still no answers from the club. N'Golo Kante out of contract in 2023. After the Champions League final last year, they told him, okay, we will negotiate a new deal. But as of today, still nothing. So all these players, Marcos Alonso, they're waiting to see what's next. And Romelu Lukaku too, to understand what they want to do in the summer. But they have no answers at the moment. So the situation is really complicated. He's in standby, but I hope that once the sale will be completed, it will be completely different for Chelsea.
Have you heard anything in regards to the Romelu Lukaku situation? Because this is someone who we all considered a world-class striker, and he's missing games, big games, and sometimes playing small minutes in it. I mean, I'm not saying he's leaving this summer, but what is the situation with that, Fab? Because that's crazy.
But I think it's a possibility. It's a possibility that Romelu Lukaku could leave in the summer. Then it depends on Thomas Tuchel. It depends on the board. Let's see what happens with the new owners. But Romelu Lukaku can't continue like this, staying on the bench. It's something that he doesn't want, and he knows that he's not kind of player. We had Romelu Lukaku here in Italy for 2 years, and he was incredible with Inter. But even from what I'm told from Inter people into the club, into the staff, technical staff, they told me Romelu can't stay on the bench. It's impossible. You have to play Romelu Lukaku if you're Romelu Lukaku. If you don't play him with his physical structure, you can't have Romelu Lukaku in his best shape. It's impossible. And so this is a huge problem for Romelu. He needs to play. And so I think at the end of the season, he will have a conversation with Tuchel. He knows, and his agent knows, that for Chelsea it's a complicated situation to manage. They paid 115 million euros for Romelu Lukaku. And he has a huge salary, it's around 12 million euros net per season. So it's not easy now to manage a situation and to see what they want to do in the summer. But I'm sure that they can't continue like this. So, or they will have a meeting and they will tell him, okay, we will trust you, we will give you another chance, but you will play because he needs to play. Or they have to be open to find a solution together with Romelu, because he can't continue like this. And I think it makes no sense for Chelsea too.
Wow.
Staying with Inter, Dybala heading over to Inter.
Yes, we have many rumors here in Italy on that one. Then his agent yesterday denied these rumors. We had on some papers of an agreement completed with Inter, but for sure it's a possibility. Inter are interested in Paulo Dybala. Then it depends on players they will sell in the summer, because Inter will sell some player, some young player, and let's see what happens with some of the important names if they will receive proposals. But Paulo Dybala is in Inter list. The Inter director, he's called Marotta, is the same director who was at Juventus and who signed Paulo Dybala from Palermo. So the connection is really strong. He's now available on a free, and that's why Inter are really interested in him, but it's still not yet a done deal. We had rumors about Borussia Dortmund today on another paper, but I'm told that is not a possibility. So let's see what happens with some clubs from Spain, maybe from France, but in Italy, Inter are really interested and they are keeping tabs on Paulo Dybala's situation, but it's not yet a done deal. And so I would keep the situation open. He will be one of the big free agents that in the coming weeks will need to make a decision, because he will 100% leave Juventus.
Wow. I want to bring it to a Barcelona player here, a current Barcelona player, Memphis Depay. Now, apparently he's been approached by Premier League clubs in the past few weeks, but still nothing is advanced. He clarifies, I came here at Barcelona with the desire to play for the team. And of course, I want to feel important here for several years. Now, for me, I'm looking at that forward position. It could be a bit risky for him. I mean, you've got Aubameyang that's there. Obviously, you've got Dembele that's doing a great job. You've got other players that might be coming in, like we mentioned, Lewandowski. Where would that leave him? Because I mean, he wants to establish himself as not only a first team player, but starting 11. I think his time could be up soon at Barca.
He wants to continue, as he has stated in public. Is the reality that he wants to continue at Barca. He wants to prove himself at Barcelona next season. He wants to play Champions League football with Barcelona. So his mission will be to stay at Barca. But I can't rule out that he will leave in the summer, honestly, because situation is really open. He's been approached by Premier League clubs. We had some rumors about Tottenham.
Arsenal interested.
We had some rumors about Tottenham, but I'm told that at the moment it's not an option they are exploring. So let's see what happens with Depay. I think it's a really open situation, but Barcelona will need to sell some player. We always speak about new signings for Barca. We have rumors on many players from the Spanish press about Barcelona, but at the same point, they will need to sell some players. So I would keep the Memphis situation open, but on player side, he wants to continue. And so it's not going to be an easy one to decide.
Steve, fix your face, mate. Because first of all, I mentioned the pie and you did this. And then after that, I mentioned Arsenal and you just did that. Like, what's going on?
Don't worry about it. We're getting to that weird point of transfer season where there's lots of talk, but it's hard to nail down the truth at the moment and what's real and what's noise. I think it's about to kick off onto another level in the next month. But the minute it just seems like a lot of like you just sort of said, Barcelona have been linked with like 500 players all over the show at the moment. Daily. It's just they're not going to sign all of those players. They trying to pinpoint like where Barcelona have gone wrong in like the last 5 or 6 years with some of their signings and where it's gone a little bit west from and the wages have got out of hand. And then you go, now they're trying to sign Lewandowski and Marcos Alonso, and you're thinking, this isn't going to fix your wage problem. Like, you guys need to have a real serious, like, you're $1 billion in debt, and you're thinking, let's throw a load of money at Lewandowski. Now, on one hand, it'd be amazing to be a Barcelona fan because you just seem to just do what you want and get away with it with no consequences. On the other hand, you might not have a club if it continues going like this. There's a reason the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona were, and my own owners, not my club, my owners were big drivers in pushing for the European Super League. And I worry that this hasn't gone away because the spending seems to suggest that this is the direction everybody's gonna go in. And I don't like the look of that. And
you don't know if Messi's even going to go back there or not. I know it will be at a reduced wage, but he's still
is he going for 1.8 million now a week?
And so this is good because the audience then can't turn around and go, Fab saying possibly maybe it's a tough time in the transfer period, but we're always keeping you up to date. Moving on really quickly, a player who will be staying at his club, it's just a matter of whatever they agree to and when. Phil Foden. Man City plan for Phil Foden to stay, obviously, since October. Contract until 2027 with increased salary as part of the agreement. Have you heard anything on this, Fab?
Yes. He will stay. He will sign a new deal. Let's see when, because he had to be signed in October, but then he changed his agents. And so, when you change your agent, you need some time to reschedule some contracts, some paperwork time, and then the details. But everything is going to be agreed. Pep wants Phil Foden to be an important player for Manchester City for a long time. So he wants to continue with Man City. So he will sign that new deal till 2027. And he's really part of a long-term project that Pep has at Manchester City. So Foden 100% will be one of the names, but they will discuss with other players. They already extended Cancelo contract. So they're trying to extend as many contracts as they can for their stars. And soon they will discuss again with Sterling and with Bernardo Silva to understand what they want to do, because both of them need to negotiate a new deal with Manchester City. Bernardo last summer was close to leave the club, but then at the end they always wanted 65, 70 million or nothing, and that's why he stayed, and was a very good decision for Manchester City. But now they need to decide on his contract. So it's an important moment for Man City, not just for players that they want to sign, with Erling Haaland top of the list and work in progress for that deal, but also for new contracts. It's a really important point.
Who is thinking twice about paying 65 or 70 for Bernardo Silva? Do you know how crazy? He's such a player. Sometimes I just think people are mad.
Last summer they received the proposal. The only proposal they received for Bernardo Silva, Manchester City last summer, in the final 2 weeks of August from Atletico Madrid, 35 million plus bonuses. And they said no, obviously, I would say.
Of course. Man, that's crazy. A return to European football for Mr. James Rodriguez. Fab, this actually comes from your account. James said that he wants to leave Al Rayyan in the next few months. The plan is to come back to European football as soon as possible. His agent will open discussions with clubs in the next few weeks. What's your thoughts on this?
James Rodriguez wants to go. This is 100% sure. He wants to leave Al Rayyan. He doesn't want to continue there. And his plan is to go back to European football. Then now his agent Jorge Mendes is exploring opportunities. Let's see where, because for sure there is some interest from Turkish football. So let's see what he will decide and what kind of options he will have on the table. I still remember that Carlo Ancelotti wanted him at Napoli, but then it was impossible because of the salary. To make you an example, a few years ago, how the situation could have been different for James. Then he joined Everton because of Carlo Ancelotti. Let's see now what happens. Because there are many options for him, but 100% he will be one of the names on the market. They are working on it. And so James will be an interesting one to follow in the coming weeks.
Right, let's talk about United then. Who's staying? Who's going? Ronaldo, Lingard. Well, I'm not even asking Pogba. Cavani. Who we got staying and who we got going?
Cavani will leave 100%. From what I'm told, his priorities go to La Liga clubs. So after having experiences in Italy, France, England, now he wants to try La Liga. So let's see what happens with Cavani. He has proposals from Argentina, so it will be up to him to decide. But Cavani will leave Man United. Lingard will leave Man United, but this is not a surprise. Honestly, I still remember on deadline day, he was furious. He wanted to do that move to Newcastle, and Man United said no because of the Greenwood story, so they needed one more player in the team, and that changed it completely in the last 24, 48 hours of the market. But now for Lingard, it's time to go, and he will leave the club. He has many approaches, many proposals, so he's open to discuss with other clubs, but he's not staying at Man United, even if Erik ten Hag will try to change his mind.
Before you carry on, Fab, can you see that message that was on Instagram, Steve? Was that from Link? Who was that from? Was that about
his brother, I think?
Lewis's brother.
Okay.
Yes.
We've got it here on screen. Really interesting comments about someone that's been at the club for a long time. So yeah, it looks like he's done. But carry on, Fab.
Yes. No, he's done. He's done 100%. Juan Mata will leave, we know. Nemanja Matic already announced it. So many players will leave Man United. I'm told that even Eric Bailly has chances to go in the summer. Last January, he was in a AC Milan list, but then it didn't happen. But this summer, he has chances to go. Wan-Bissaka needs to be discussed with Ten Hag, but he has some approaches from Crystal Palace to go back there. So there are many, many possibilities for players to leave the club in the summer. It will be a revolution in Manchester United. And then for Cristiano, what I'm told from people close to Cristiano, he's still not in the process to decide his future. He's waiting to have a conversation with Erik ten Hag. For Cristiano, it's not a problem, from what I'm told, that Manchester United will sign a new striker in the summer. We know that Manchester United will sign a new number 9. They will sign a new striker no matter what happens with Cristiano. But it's not a problem for Cristiano Ronaldo. He knows that Man United need another player in that position. He knows that it's impossible to be competitive with only one center striker in the whole season. So this is not a problem. He wants to understand what's the plan for Erik ten Hag. So I'm sure that it will be a good conversation, because Erik ten Hag is a very smart guy. He knows that he needs to be clear. He will not suffer Cristiano Ronaldo and his power. He knows that he needs to say what he really wants to do with him. And so that conversation will decide Cristiano Ronaldo's future. But at the moment, I don't have any message from people from close to Cristiano telling me like Cristiano is ready to go immediately. So he's not in the process to leave the club.
So United are going to sign a new striker. Early days in the transfer window, obviously. I've seen 300 names linked with us so far. If you had to back one striker horse for United to be going after, who do you think? What's that name? Give me that one name that you think, keep an eye on that, there's something in it.
It's a complicated one, because this Erik ten Hag decides. And so at the moment they are checking some names, as we always mentioned here. For example, Darwin Núñez will be one of the names to monitor. I'm sure that is one of the names they discussed internally. And then Richarlison too. There are two players that they are monitoring. Darwin Núñez, the problem is the price.
Núñez and who?
Richarlison.
Oh, Richarlison, yeah. I do think there's something in that, especially if Everton go down. I can definitely see that one being something to happen.
Yes. So they are two names that they discussed internally. Then we will see, because for Darwin Núñez, 3 weeks ago was 70 million. Now maybe it could be 80, 85. So the price will be really complicated to afford, and also many clubs interested. So it's not going to be an easy one, but I'm sure that Man United will sign a new striker, and Erik ten Hag will decide.
I just wanted to ask Fab before Steve goes into the questions. So there was nothing in the comment. Did you see on Instagram where, when Ronaldo scored in the last game, he was doing what I thought was his usual celebration, and the media went, is he giving a sign? Does that mean he's staying and this is his home, etc.? He actually commented online when an account wrote it, and he said, I didn't say that. I mean, we've got it here on screen.
I think they say they're not finished. And
yes.
And
he said, I'm not finished. And he said, I didn't say that.
Exactly.
That's a bit of a tricky one. I mean, what's going on over there?
No, I think he just doesn't want
to reply. That's what
I think he doesn't want people to invent stories around himself and Man United because it's too easy. As last week we had Paul Pogba leaves the chat on WhatsApp and it's not true. Then Paul Pogba, I think he will leave Man United because there are good chances he will leave Man United, but it doesn't mean that he has to leave the WhatsApp chat in May. It makes no sense. So many times you have fake stories around Man United, and I think Cristiano is really tired.
So. Can I just say as well, that wasn't my story last week. That was just a story that was going out there. Loads of people was like, Steve's made up this story about WhatsApp. Go and have a Google. I didn't make it up. It was all out there. But anyway, we have got fan questions. I think this one's already been answered, but Ibrahim says, big fan of your work. Has Haaland chosen City? We were expecting a decision end of April. I think he has, hasn't he?
Yes, it's not done yet, but Manchester City are front runners. They're working on it. They are in the process to sign Haaland. So it's not done. It's not yet a done deal because it's a complicated one with commission, salary, and many points, but they are front runners. So work in progress.
Second one was from Andrew. He says, Fab the man, will Mike Phelan be part of the coaching team under Erik ten Hag?
I think it could be a possibility. They will discuss in the coming few weeks. I think from what I'm told, Erik ten Hag asked for 2 weeks to make sure that he win the Eredivisie, and then he can discuss internally with the club what they will do, even with Van der Haag, that is the man he wants from Ajax, and then they will make final decisions. But I think it could be an option, yes.
On the Mike Phelan thing, obviously me and Joel spoke to him during the summer. I wouldn't be as upset as I think 99% of United fans are going to be if Mike Phelan is part of the coaching staff. And the reason for that is I don't think he's part of the coaching staff. I think he's part of the admin staff, the player admin staff. I don't think, he told us himself he doesn't coach. So I think the job that he does is very much a bit of a commercial and a player admin staff. So if he is, that might be a useful link for someone like Ten Hag, who's not managed what's going to be an insane commercial commitment for his playing staff, which he's never going to have dealt with before. The next question was from Ozam Rani. Nothing on Tchouameni.
I heard he's going Liverpool.
He's got about 5 clubs this afternoon, I think.
He has options in England, Premier League. Liverpool is one of the options. Yes, they're monitoring him, but it's still nothing advanced between clubs. So it's a possibility, but also Real Madrid are monitoring him, and they're still in the process to decide if they want to sign him midfielder or not. So it's still an open one, but Real Madrid and Premier League clubs for Tchouameni. In the coming weeks, we will enter into the real important stages of this negotiation.
And then Nathan Pitchford says, hey guys, question for Fab. Is there anything in the rumours surrounding Goncalo Guedes and Hugo Ekitike coming to Wolves? Also, is there anything new on the Neves and Traore situations?
No, I don't have any updates on that two names. For Ekitike and Guedes. For Guedes, there is Roma interested. And for Neves, a lot of interest, but they want big money. So it's going to be a long one in the summer, not an easy negotiation for this moment for May.
I love him at United.
Yes, he's a very, very good player. And Adama Traore, I think he has good chances to come back at Wolves, honestly, because Barca won't pay 30 million clause by option. And so, or they negotiate for a swap deal, but Barca won't pay any money for Adama Traore. So let's see if they will find a way with a swap deal or Adama will be back at Wolves.
Hey, we could do a 30 million. Is that what they want for him?
Yes, 30 million euros.
Bargain. Do it. United, do it. Get Adama in. He's proved himself, hasn't he, in a good team that he can actually produce. Because the problem with him, the perception of him was like he just runs around a lot, but he doesn't get many goals and assists. Well, that's changed since going to Barcelona. He's sure he can do it at the top end. I'd love him at United.
Guys, I think that's it for this week's episode. Thank you very much, Fab, for your time.
Thank
Steve,
you guys
for your time. And we'll be back next week with more news. Stay tuned.